Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are analyzing the Anandamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha is the subtlest kosha of all the 5 koshas, and it pervades the Vijnanamaya Kosha and the Manomaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha and the Annamaya Kosha. And in the process of pervading, it expresses only when the mind is calm and quiet. So the pure Satchidananda, the Sat aspect is expressed everywhere, even in the inert things, because for an expression you need a Nama and Rupa only for that. So any form can express the existence because the form exists, and therefore expression is only for the gross elements or the gross bodies or gross matter. It expresses only as the Sat aspect of it, and when there is the subtle body is there, it expresses not only the existent, also as the conscious entity, because the subtle body has a capacity to reflect. The gross body has a capacity to reflect only Sat aspect of it. The subtle body has a capacity to reflect both the Sat as well as the Chit aspect of it. And only in the Anandamaya Kosha, that means the very subtlest one, where the mind is calm and quiet, the Ananda aspect is expressed also or reflected. So all are reflections of Satchidananda only, and the pure Satchidananda is all pervading infinite, and from the pure Satchidananda there is no world even, there is no reflecting media also. So the whole analysis only from the point of Vyavaharika Satyam. And therefore, if we look carefully from all points, the Anandamaya Kosha only comes into picture whenever the mind is calm and quiet. That is happens when my desires are fulfilled, and that's where I say I am happy, and therefore I am going after happiness, thinking that the happiness is out there and I had to fulfill my desires, then only I am happy. Desire is desire for an object or a person or whatever that my likes are, and therefore whole life after life I am chasing happiness, thinking that with that object I am going to be happy. And what is happiness is really, the scripture says, is an expression of this Ananda, of this Satchidananda, and it expresses only when there is no agitations or when it is crystal clear, the mind is prashanti, and that essentially when Anandamaya Kosha is expressed. So it expressed, as we are looking at this sloka 210 of the Viveka Chudamani, it says, Anandamaya Koshasya susuptau spurtirutkata and Swapna Jagara Yoho Ishadishta Sandarshanadina. So in the Swapna Jagaraha, in the waking state, or in the dream state and the waking state, when the Ishtam, that means Ishta Sandarshana Anandaha Isha, that means the expression of Ananda comes only when my desires are fulfilled or when I get the desired objects. And sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't get it. And this is also dictated by Punyam also. Even though I may work very hard, I may not get the result. and the result is not necessarily depends on my work, but also from punyam, adrushtam, we call it. Adrushtam depends upon punyam and papam also. So I may go and buy suddenly decide to go and buy a lottery ticket which I may never have bought it, and it so happened I may win. That's not because that there is a destiny to win, that's only because of the punyam only I am winning. So whatever the expression, because in a sense I don't get anything free. Whatever I get is due to result of my past only. So nobody gets any free, and nobody escapes the suffering also. However much I may pray, but still I had to go through the karma phalam. But only by praying, as we mentioned, reduces my involvement in the things that are coming. Punyam papam will come, but because of my prayers, my mind becomes purified enough, I do not react. Since Krishna says, Tam tijishasva bharata, agama paino nityaha, tam tijishasva bharata, matras sarsosti kaunteya, sitoshna dukkadaha, agama paino nityaha, and tam tijishva. They come and go, because they come and go depending upon my past actions. Even though Pandavas are so close to Krishna, they have to suffer a lot, and they went through 12 years of forest life and 1 year of incognito living. All that, even though God is so close to them, because God is only blesses them, they have to follow whatever they are destined to do. And even Krishna will not have stopped what they have supposed to suffer. But with the Krishna in mind, they are able to go through the process of whatever that comes with a calm and quiet mind. That is what prayer helps. And therefore, we will take up in the Anandamaya Kosha is expresses, and in the case of Sushupta, in the case of deep sleep state, it is Spurti Utkata. It is magnifiedly expressed because there is no other mental disturbance. The mind itself is calmed down and quiet and folded, and therefore there is only Karana Sarira, causal body, which is nothing but Ajnanam. And we will analyze that a little bit, but at least it says it expresses, Anandamaya Kosha expresses and extensively in the deep sleep state. And the degrees of Ananda, depending upon the intensity of my mind quietness, I have Priyam, Modam, Pramodam. So it's all Gunikaha. There is a qualities, and these are all due to, because it's a Saguna aspect of it, it's all due to the reflected consciousness or reflected Ananda here, and that's what is essentially Anandamaya Kosham is. And we take the next sloka, which is the last sloka in the Anandamaya Kosha, that is sloka 211 of the Vivekachudamani. It says Naivayamanandamaya paratma sopadikatvat prakutir vikarat karyatva hetoho sugrutah kriyaya vikara sanghata samahitatvat. Naivayamanandamaya paratma sopadikatvat prakutir vikarat karyatva hetoho sugruti kriyaya vikara sanghata samohitatvat. So Sanayeva ayam Anandamaya paratma. This Anandamaya is not same as the Satchidananda, the absolute Atma or the self that I am. Why? It gives you the reasons here, and this is important because in some people quote Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and says deep sleep state is similar to the Satchidanandam. So experience in the deep sleep state is experience in the pure consciousness. So experience is Ananda, but also it is mixed with, or it is involved with the avidya. It is only reflected Ananda only, not the pure Ananda. Reflected the happiness depending upon my punyam and papam. And punyam and papam also decide whether I can get sleep or not. And it is only tamo gunam there. In the deep sleep state, it's only tamo gunam, because I don't know is the only the statement that I can make about deep sleep state. So, na eva ayam anandamayaha paratma. So therefore this I am Anandamaya. This Anandamaya Kosha is not Paratma, is not Supreme Atma. Why? He gives you reasons here, and we know our reasons will give. Sopadikatvat, Prakutir Vikarat, Karyatva Hetoho, Sukruta Kriyaya, Vikara Sanghat, Samahitatvat. So he has given many reasons why it is not Paratma. So, Sopadikatvat, it is associated with the Upadi. Upadi is Karana Sariram. So it is a reflected consciousness in the Upadi. So Upadi, Sopadikatvat, Prakutir Vikarat. And Upadi itself is the Vikara of the Prakriti. Because the Upadi is the body. Body is the product of the Prakriti. Prakriti is Trigunatmikam, and in that the body is formed because of the ignorance. So Vyashtya Vidya and Samastya Vidya are involved in terms of the totality here. So Prakriti Vikarat, it is a modification of the Prakriti or Maya or Avidya. So Karyatva Hetoho, it is Karyam, means it's a product of Karyatvam Hetoho, for that reason. And Sukrita Kriyaya, and one depends upon whatever the happiness one gets in the waking state and the dream state, depends upon Sukrutam, that means Punyam. Punyam is depends upon the good actions that I have done is what blesses me, the happiness that I am. So people can have everything but they are unhappy. Why? Because that's their Sukrutam only. They cannot enjoy in spite of everything they have. They still suffer, and because of either health-wise or the other problems of deficiencies that make them suffer. So I have everything to eat, but I cannot digest anything. What good is that? The other people who are around me will enjoy the food only. So it is like the body is not given enough to eat, to digest anything. So in that case, even delicious food has no meaning to me. In the same way, so it is Sukrita Kriyaya, Vikara Sanghat Samahitatvat. It is assemblage of all the things that are undergo continuously modifications. So even the deep sleep state goes away and come back a waking state, and the dream state, and states keep changing. That itself is a vikara, because it's not eternally the same. And intensity of sleep also changes. We go to deep sleep state only few hours or few in the total. The rest of it goes into the swapnavastha and the intermittent stages. So therefore it is only temporarily, therefore it is not the pure Atma. So in that way I have to reject the Anandamaya Kosha is not I. So we have rejected one by one, and basically we talked about the 5 fundamental aspects. That is, this is number 1, Drusyatvat. That means it is knowable entity. So in all these things, everyone is knowable entity. And Drusyatvat, and this the essentially Bhautikatvat, it's made up of material, whether it's a gross or subtle. And Sagunatvat, Drusyatvat, Bhautikatvat, Sagunatvat. Sagunatva means it has associated with the quality. In the case of the deep sleep state, it is tamasic quality. In the case of other states, it is just quietening off. Depending upon that, it is temporarily and qualified as Priya, Moda, Pramoda, etc. These are gunas. Sagunatvat. And Savikaratvat, so continuously undergoing change. So intensity of happiness also changes depending upon my intensity of the punyam or my longing for the object, and when the object comes without any attributes or without any things at all, then I can fully enjoy. So therefore it is essentially the Vikaratvat. And last one is Agamapayitvat. It comes and goes. Nothing remains permanent. And what is Satyam is eternally remains the same. So in that sense, it is not the Atma that I am, it's only Anatma. So use the discriminative faculty to reject I am not that. Now from this on, he goes into the analysis of what is the Sakshi, who is the I am, what is the truth behind it. And before we do that, we'll like to analyze the question of who is the deep sleeper. This is an important question because a lot of confusion arises in terms of who slept well. So the point is when I get up in the morning, I say, did you sleep well? Yes, I slept well. And who is making a statement? Statement seems to be made by the mind, because without the mind I cannot make a statement, so, using the body of course. So statement is made by the mind. Well, all the statements are made by the mind only, right? So therefore, the statement is at the point of making I slept very well, is a statement by the mind, but mind is not there in the deep sleep state. So how can the mind say I slept very well when it is not even there? So who slept very well is a question. So, but there is an experience of sleep, because I said I had slept very well, because I was there to sleep very well, and I was longing for sleep also. I am so tired, and in fact I prepared all the bed and everything else. Those are only external things, but how I sleep has nothing to do with that, in the sense that when I glide into the sleep, I even won't know when I went to sleep also. So the time concept, space concept, everything is gone in that state of sleep. Then in that case, who exactly says I slept well? Because this is a recollection of an experience that I went through. So who is the experiencer of this sleep? That's a question essentially. It's not the body, it's not the mind. Then what else is there to experience? And that's what is Anandamaya Kosha alone is there. Now Anandamaya Kosha, how can it express itself? It has to use the mind and so on and so forth. So essentially, this aspect is exhaustively treated in the Panchadashi in the 11th chapter by Vidyaranya Swami. And I written an article in the advaitaforum.com, says who slept very well. And in that, what it says essentially, the withdrawal, the deep sleep is nothing but withdrawal of each kosha into the more subtler one. So Annamaya kosha withdraws into Pranamaya, Pranamaya, Annamaya thus withdraws into Manomaya, and Manomaya along with the Pranamaya and Annamaya resolves into the Vijnanamaya, and Vijnanamaya itself gets folded in the deep sleep state, and that Vijnanamaya which is different, folded, is nothing but absence of the subject-object duality and awareness of anything that can be objectifiable, and therefore it says in the Mandukya Upanishad, na kinchana kamam kamayata, because I don't see any object there, therefore I have no desire for object. So there is no perception of the object, and there is no resolution of subject-object relationship. I may be great physics professor in when I am waking state, but I have no knowledge of physics there in the deep sleep state. I may be expert in so many fields, but all that is gone or folded. So along with the buddhi, everything is folded. When it is folded, that means when it became a calm and quiet and no vritti is there, that is the call Anandamaya Kosha. So Anandamaya Kosha is that the vritti undisturbed the mind and intellect, whether it's a folded or whether it's open. Folded is in the deep sleep state, open is when I am having a happiness in those moments. At that time also, the mind and intellect, there is no subject-object relationship. I am just myself, and that's what Ananda gets reflected. So what is Anandamaya Kosha now? Anandamaya Kosha is all koshas folded into, and there is calm and quietness where there is no subject-object relationship. And in the deep sleep state, since I am not conscious of either subject and object for a length of time, and all I know is essentially there is no duality whatsoever in the experience, duality whatsoever in the deep sleep state, and therefore the happiness that I get in the deep sleep state is the absence of the subject-object relationship. So when I slept very well, it is the Anandamaya Kosha which is sleeping very well, and what is remaining is I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. That is essentially what is the experience. Say, what do you do in the deep sleep state? I don't know. What did you see? I don't know. I had no concept of space, no concept of time, and no concept of any object differentiation. So, Desa Kala Vastu Parichinnatvam is not there in the deep sleep state. But yet, I have no knowledge of it, but also I have no knowledge of myself also. That I don't know myself is also avidya. That I don't know, I don't know, I don't know anything including myself is the constant vritti. Constant vritti means as though modification of the mind, and that remains in the whole deep sleep state. So one experience it is, and that one experience is experience of the absence of the duality, and which is same as the ignorance of the presence of any duality or anything, and that is called constant ignorance, and which is called absence of everything. And at the same time, since it is the absence of duality, it is constant the happiness, because the scripture says Dvitiyadvo bhayam bhavati. The second is bringing unhappiness or fear, and all the fear comes because of the second only. Therefore, I am that, at the same time I don't know that. So, who is a deep sleeper? It is the deep sleeper is nothing but the Anandamaya Kosha. But Anandamaya Kosha is inert. How can it sleep? Therefore, we have to bring a reflected consciousness in the Anandamaya Kosha is the deep sleeper. But reflection cannot occur unless I have Sakshi, unless I have pure consciousness. So who is the deep sleeper? Deep sleeper is pure consciousness reflected in the Anandamaya Kosha. Therefore, there is a Chidabhasa, and therefore the Sariram is Karana Sarira, and all the three are there involved in the deep sleep state. And when I claim myself without knowing that I am the pure consciousness, I claim myself that I do not know, and at the same time I am happy because there is no duality whatsoever. So it's not an experience of or understanding of who am I, but only constant awareness of I don't know. That means one single experience of I don't know anything, and that is constantly remain. And single experience will not give me the space and time, because we said time is a gap between two sequential experiences. Einstein's definition is time is the gap between two sequential events, but from the Vedantic point, experiencer has to be there, a pramata has to be there, and that is pramata is a constant one. That means I don't know is the very knowledge of the Anandamaya Kosha in with that which is expressed by buddhi when it is awakened. So buddhi when it is awakened, it say I did not know, I slept very well. Statement by the buddhi, but therefore the quietening of the buddhi or folding of the buddhi itself is called, along with the other koshas, itself is called Anandamaya Kosha. So now we know what is Anandamaya Kosha, what is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, what is Manomaya Kosha, what is Pranamaya Kosha, and what is Annamaya Kosha. Then who am I? I am none of them. And at the same time, in my presence only, all these things are activated. I am what? I am obviously doesn't come under these five categories. Drishyatvat, Bhautikatvat, Sagudatvat, Savikaratvat, Agamapayitvat. We went through all the five with respect to all the koshas. So I am not Drishyatvat. I cannot be seen. I am not an object of a seer or a knower. So I cannot be known. also. And bhautikatva, I am not made of a material, subtle or gross. And savikaratva, sagunatva, I am not having any guna. Guna belongs to Prakriti. And savikaratva, I do not undergo any modification. Therefore, I am nitya swarupam. And agamapayityam is essentially I am constant and no undergoing, all the time present, eternally present, and that is my nature. This will analyze as a part of Sakshi from next talk on. With this we'll stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevam Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.